France's most celebrated war hero and its greatest modern statesman, Charles de Gaulle, was also one of the only Western leaders to openly arm and empower apartheid South Africa, openly supporting the policy of apartheid. While the world remembers de Gaulle as the savior of France and the founder of the Fifth Republic, almost no one knows that during the Verwoerd era, he quietly became Pretoria's strongest ally in the West, supplying weapons and technology and political cover even after every other European power turned its back on South Africa. Charles de Gaulle was a wartime hero, a nation builder, and the architect of modern France's presidential system. Born in 1980 to a devout Catholic family, de Gaulle rose to prominence during the Second World War as the uncompromising leader of the Free Forces, refusing to accept France's surrender and instead rallying the country from exile. After the war, he founded the Fifth Republic, re-establishing France as a sovereign, independent power with a strong presidency and a foreign policy free from any American or British influence. De Gaulle was also one of the last openly traditionalist Catholic leaders in modern Western Europe. A man who combined conservative social policies and values with a fierce commitment to national independence and nationalism for the French people. Today, he is immortalized not only in French memory, but also in Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport, which stands as a testament to his lasting impact on his nation. Yet, what is almost never discussed is de Gaulle's unique and highly controversial relationship with apartheid South Africa. While the United States and the United Kingdom sided firmly with the UN embargo on Pretoria in 1963, de Gaulle deliberately broke with the rest of the Western consensus and positioned France as South Africa's primary strategic partner in Europe. Under de Gaulle's rule, France supplied the National Party government in South Africa with its most advanced fighter jets, as well as providing extensive intelligence, nuclear and technological cooperation. In today's video, we are going to uncover how France's greatest statesman of the 20th century supported apartheid. Charles-André Joseph Marie de Gaulle served as the President of France for just over 10 years between 59 and 69. Born in the city of Lille in northern France in 1890, just over a century after the French Revolution, he served in both World Wars, but eventually rose to fame as a general in World War II, when he led the Free French forces against Nazi Germany and its allied state, Vichy France. He is widely considered to be one of the greatest figures in French history and is internationally recognized as a decorated veteran of both world wars. The catalyst for his rise to political power in the late 50s was the well-known May 1958 crisis, when a political uprising in Algiers, the capital of the French colony of Algeria, turned into a full-scale military coup. French military leaders in Algiers seized government buildings and invoked de Gaulle's name, calling him the only man who could save France from imminent collapse. When the generals threatened to invade Paris, the political elites of the time panicked, resigned and invited de Gaulle to form a new government. So while de Gaulle did not stage the coup himself, he did end up using it to get into political power in France. Following the war, de Gaulle had retreated from French public life, but in the midst of France's worst crisis since the Second World War, millions believed de Gaulle to be the only man who could bring France back on track. A political party was quickly formed by his supporters known as the Union for the New Republic, and in a presidential election held on 21st of December 1958, de Gaulle was elected as the first president of the Fifth French Republic with more than 78% of the vote. De Gaulle granted independence to Algeria and as president also sought to lead France on a course of increased independence from major military powers such as the United States and England, withdrawing from NATO's integrated military command and transforming France into the world's fourth nuclear power, following just the US, the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom. He also drove French nationalism, opposing the integration of the European nation-states into a union, but favoring a continent of just sovereign nations. He would eventually resign as French president in '69, following a failed constitutional referendum in which he had proposed increased decentralization and nationalism and more autonomy for the various French provinces. De Gaulle was distinctly more conservative than any of his predecessors or his successors, being one of the only modern French leaders who was a traditional practicing Catholic. He has also, of course, been immortalized by means of the Parisian airport named after him, and which is today the third busiest airport in all of Europe, behind only Heathrow and Istanbul. But what is little known about this decorated and cherished French leader is that he was also the only Western leader to support the apartheid regime in South Africa during the time of Hendrik Verwoerd. And under his rule, France supported South Africa with advanced weaponry, diplomatic protection at the United Nations, oil supplies, and key technological assistance. In fact, when South Africa faced a military embargo, according to which almost all UN member states were prevented from supplying Pretoria with arms from 1963 onwards, it was under de Gaulle that France approved the sale of the Mirage fighter jets to South Africa, the most advanced interceptors in the Western world at the time, followed shortly afterwards by the delivery of the Ayoulette 2 and 3 helicopters, which became the backbone of the South African counterinsurgency operations at that time before they could develop their own. De Gaulle's government also authorized the sale of the Cactus or Crowtail surface-to-air missile system in the 60s, and a joint French-South African development that gave Pretoria one of the most sophisticated air defense networks in the Southern Hemisphere. De Gaulle saw good trade relations with South Africa's National Party under Verwoerd as an ideal opportunity to acquire the much-needed strategic materials for his nuclear program, something South Africa has in abundance. Above all, he wanted to free France from any military dependency on the United States. And so he grabbed the opportunity to fill the gap in the military market vacated by Britain and the USA, which fully participated in the embargo. From 1964 until the end of de Gaulle's rule in 1969, France became by far South Africa's most important arms supplier, effectively becoming Pretoria's lifeline to advanced Western military technology. Contemporary analysis of Cold War era defense shows that by 1967, more than half of South Africa's important armaments were French, including aircraft, helicopters, missiles, electronic warfare systems, and naval technology. As Victor Mukambi points out in a 2008 PhD dissertation completed at the University of Stellenbosch, the French involvement in South Africa helped the regime survive through the acquisition of modern weapons, which became a key factor in the survival of the apartheid policy in South Africa. Even though Charles de Gaulle was always remembered as a key figure in the Allied victory of World War II, he also stood out as a man who refused to embrace the post-World War liberal world order under Anglo-American hegemony. He loved France and the French people above everything and strove to restore the nation to its former glory. His alliance with the National Party and the apartheid regime in South Africa during the time of Verwoerd was a strategically calculated move towards this end and this end alone, French nationalism. His successors in France have not followed in his footsteps, with recent leaders such as Nicolas Sarkozy, François Hollande, and Emmanuel Macron all favoring the globalist liberal world order over French national interests. Today, the French capital is a shadow of it once was, being overrun by third world immigrants, with large parts of Paris now being characterized by filthy streets and massively high crime rates, France's national debt is also skyrocketing, with the stagnant French economy contributing to ever-increasing levels of unemployment in this country. Today, France's demographic crisis is a ticking time bomb, specifically in Paris. The European political landscape is indeed reflecting what is going on in South Africa more and more every year. In a recent video, for example, we highlighted how a former ANC member could potentially unseat British Prime Minister Keir Starmer in the next election. Watch this full video by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. And remember to become a paid member of the Willem Petzer Group. Only with your support are we able to make these videos to change the hearts and minds of people. Simply follow the easy steps underneath me. Goodbye and God bless.